Let's speak with Jonathan Davis, who is an economist and wealth manager. If we backtrack the deal that initially was lauded by George Osborne and others, and then they sought to distance themselves from it, how good a deal was it in truth, in your view? Good morning.
Good morning. As far as I'm concerned, it was a political deal. The HMRC and George Osborne sat around the table a couple or a few times with the Google executives, and basically the bureaucrats pleaded with Google to pay them some tax. As far as I'm concerned, multinational companies should not be allowed to base their administrative headquarters in tax avoiding countries. They should pay tax in the countries where they do business and make profits. It's a political deal, and however, the thing is, we shouldn't be getting at Google or Amazon or whoever it happens to be. They are paying the tax that they are due to pay. It's the politicians who have set the tax laws, and would you pay more tax than you have to pay?
No, absolutely not. And whereas obviously anything that there are legal issues with you wouldn't support, this is in a way more of a moral debate, isn't it, Mr. Davis?
Well, again, you say that, but Google is a business. It's a semi-capitalist world in which we live in. There are tax laws, and they're applying those tax laws appropriately and entirely within the law. And people wouldn't.
I agree. Listen, if I could strike a deal where I could pay that level of tax, I'd do it yesterday. However, when it comes to somebody like Google, there is the argument that it benefits from employing people in this country who have gone through the state education system, who are looked after by the NHS, who travel on roads that taxes pay for. So perhaps they should be doing a little bit more, paying what could be seen to be a more realistic tax take.
Well, if you're so teed off with Google, stop using them. The fact is, they provide a phenomenal service to the people, to businesses. That's why they're so profitable. In this semi-capitalist world, no one makes a profit unless they provide a quality product or service. We shouldn't be getting at Google. We should be getting at politicians. In fact, Gordon Brown, we should apply most opprobrium to, because he's the guy that effectively created all this tax loophole nonsense. However, George Osborne has done nothing about it, absolutely. We need politicians to stand up and say, this is unacceptable. We need to change the tax laws so that people, businesses doing business in Britain, making profits in Britain, pay tax on those profits.
Lastly, when Meg Hillier, who's the Labour MP for Hackney South, who you heard questioning the Google boss there, when she talked about the outrage, the fury of her constituents and indeed her colleagues' constituents as well, you would say that fury is utterly misdirected then?
No, I'm furious myself, but there's nothing we can do about it, and the politicians are just putting on a circus. That's what they do. They're pretending that they're doing something by having a public crucifixion of the CEO of Google in Britain. But the politicians know themselves. That's all what it is. It's Simon Cowell, it's bread and circuses. The politicians, however, are doing absolutely nothing about it, just saying some words. Well, I'm sorry, actions are more powerful than speaking.
Thank you for your input. Strong words from Jonathan Davis, economist and wealth manager.